You are about to witness history in the making.
Hi guys, welcome to another Pop Culture Gamer Show, episode 42, take 2, but you won't know that.
No.
Hi to Hayden. How you doing, pal? You alright?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you, Steve.
Good. And as we just said in the first take, episode 42, we may well call this The Meaning of Life?
Life, the universe and everything.
Or that even, yeah, why not? So, welcome to the life, the universe and everything. So I do apologise. My throat, and I'm a bit rough at the moment with man flu. It sort of hit me like a train yesterday morning. So it gets worse in the evening. So if I start to feel a bit groggy, do apologise. And Hayden will try to edit out as many coughs as he can.
I can't guarantee I'll get all of them though.
No, that or the squeaky chair, one or the other.
Yeah.
But I must say I do have a Jim Beam bottle of bourbon whiskey alongside me to help my throat. So. Yeah. We shall see.
For medicinal purposes.
Exactly, yeah. So I'm going to let you talk first while I have a drink of this gorgeous whiskey. So what have you been up to, pal?
Not really a great deal, to be quite honest. I've had, I think the technical definition would be a chewy couple of weeks, when nothing seems to go right. So I've had a couple of weeks with that. We've had a couple of problems with my son with his school. Which hopefully we've got sorted out. And then just doing an awful lot with, a couple of chewy bits with work, just, bits of work to get the way through. So it's just been a bit, same old, really. One thing I did do, little project, which I've been meaning to do for ages, was hardwired in my son's rig into the network.
Right.
Because he's been connecting on Wi-Fi, and to be honest, I've just got sick of him complaining that the Wi-Fi's been dropping on him. And because I don't know what it is, but I think it must be because we've got interference from next door neighbours on our Wi-Fi. And I also think it might have something to do with the way that I had the router configured as well. So what I've actually done is a couple of things. First off, I've separated my 2.4 gigahertz network from my 5 gigahertz. So, it actually, I can actually connect to either. So I've got some devices that won't connect to the 5. So, they can have the 2.4, but obviously it can have the 5, for the rest of the house. The weird thing is, even though the 5 gigahertz not supposed to travel as far as a 2.4, I can actually still pick up a reasonable signal at the end of the garden on the opposite side of the house to where the router is, which I'm not really sure how that works, but it does, and I'm not complaining.
Well, it's all a bit weird out sometimes. I mean, I have a sort of a dead spot. I shouldn't have it, but I have it in my bathroom sometimes. Yeah,
well, I mean, what was happening with me was my iPad kept dropping connection when I was sat in all places on the sofa in the living room, which is where I use my iPad probably the most.
Yeah.
And I thought, what is it that's going on here? And I was wondering whether or not it was keep disconnecting and reconnecting from either my main hub or from the extender that I had at the other side of the house, because it was basically equidistant between the two. So I thought, am I in like an overlapping bubble where it's causing problems? And then I thought, to get around it, I'll separate the 5 off and I'll use it that way, because if it's also dropping out on that and it's trying to connect to all of them, that might be what's causing delays and why it keeps dropping. And since then, it's fine. So, very weird. But it's sorted now, and I'm very happy about that. And my son's very happy because now he can do his YouTube videos all he likes.
And without any hassle from you.
Yeah, because to be honest, it was one of those jobs that was a big thing to do. Because I've ripped up carpets and stuff like that as well. It was, but what I did was I got a flat network cable so that it lies flat and you can't feel it when you walk over it.
Right.
So yeah, it's quite, I'm quite pleased with the job. I had to cut off a couple of little corners in places just to feed the wire through and stuff like that, but it's done. I'm happy. I'm not going to get hassle anymore.
Even the missus is okay, is she?
I just did it when she was out. She didn't know I'd actually done it until she found the tools all piled up.
Yeah.
And I said, I've been doing this. And she sort of like shrugged and went, oh, right, okay. And then carried on doing what she was doing.
Can't be bad.
Yeah, not bad at all. So what about you? Because I know that you went to see Hans Zimmer, and I never actually got, because of everything that was going on with me, never actually got to go.
No. So, well, firstly, as much as I've got man flu, Yoda's got what is it called again? Kennel cough.
Kennel cough.
And he sounds like he's a smoker at the moment.
Yeah.
But the poor thing, he's really suffering with it at the minute. We have tried a couple of remedies at the moment, and we'll see how it goes on. If not, we'll have to take him to the vet, but doing that at the weekend is on call, so you have to have an arm and a leg for that.
Well, the vet will be able to give him an injection or something, because my mother-in-law's dogs, they had sort of kennel cough. So now what we do is just vaccinate all of the dogs so they don't pass it on to each other.
Right, okay, because if one coughs in the area and it's sort of airborne, that's how they pick it up.
Yeah, exactly, which is why if you get the vaccination, it solves it.
Yeah, so I might have to look into that vaccination, see what it costs.
I don't think it's much.
So disappointed. I know you were busy. You had stuff at home to deal with, personal stuff, so it wasn't easy for you to pull away for Thursday night.
No.
But you did miss a bit of a humdinger there, I'm afraid.
It's just one of them things.
Yeah, and I'm just going to say thanks to Mike Barden again. He's moved in now to his new place. I think he's on a bit of a roaming Wi-Fi for a few days until his internet gets in.
Yeah.
But I did send him a text message and thanked him again.
I think he's moved to about 30 miles away from where I am, or within the next 30 miles.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So Thursday night I travelled up to Birmingham from Bristol where I was working that day, and that was quite painless, to be honest. I was in the car park that I booked at about 5:20.
Right. Okay.
So I was in early, but I'm not sure if I'm going to get done for this because the ticket said from 6 till midnight.
Yeah.
So if I went in before 6, is the AMPR going to pick me up and say that I haven't paid any money? But when 6 rolls over, it says I'm parked and I'm in there. So I'm not really sure that's going to work, to be honest.
No.
Whether or not, because I did leave straight afterwards, so I didn't use the full time.
Right. Okay.
So we'll see. The only person that I'm going to know about that is my company first. When they start screaming at me saying you got a ticket here for not paying your car park. But whatever, it is what it is. So 73 musicians on stage with a split 5-section screen which opens up to the choral choir that was also in this, amongst other celebrity sort of opera singer types as well that was in this. Okay. That actually worked on his scores. Yeah. And I think the words wow, to be honest. I really love the way that scores are put together, but to see like a whole orchestra playing this sound that you would just take for granted in a movie, it's incredible, to be honest. It was a joy to be heard, to be honest. The show lasted for 2 hours. And there was like a 20-minute break. But then again, I reckon it might have been 2.5 hours because I didn't get out till 11 o'clock. And they had sort of an Act 1, Act 2. So Act 1 started off with The Dark Knight. There was a small composition from that. Rolled into King Arthur, Mission Impossible 2, Pearl Harbor, Rush, and The Da Vinci Code. So that was the first section of it. Yeah. Which the Da Vinci Code is in about 3 or 4 sections anyway. And what was great was that the graphics on the back screen that you had would then sometimes show pieces of the movie as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it was very well in tune with what they were playing. And when we get on to talk about what film I saw, that was the reason I watched it, because when they played Rush, which is the James Hunt story, well, I've never seen it, but listening to Hans Zimmer chat to the director from Rush and the Da Vinci Code, and you know what? I can't even think of his name right now. I will call him Richie Cunningham because that's what you know him for most, probably.
Ron Howard.
Thank you. So they were chatting on the big screen about the scores, and he would do this throughout the evening. He would be in his studio in LA and have some of the directors to chat about what they were doing.
Mm-hmm.
And the Rush sequence was amazing. They did have the sound from the cars as well on that screen section, and the score was brilliant. Really was good.
Yeah.
So you had a 20-minute break from there. This then moved into Act 2, which started off with Madagascar and then went on to Spirit and Kung Fu Panda. And again, they used parts of the movie as well. But they had some of the people that were actually there that were recording the score back when it came out. There was like a guy on these like flutes. So you probably, if you remember Kung Fu Panda and that,
mm-hmm.
That was amazing to listen to and how they put that together. From there, we went on to the film The Holiday, which I've not seen, but I'm sure many of our wives have. Followed by Hannibal and The Lion King, Gladiator, and Inception. And the guy, you know, at the beginning of Lion King when you have that holler, that shout from the whoever it is.
Yeah.
If I could do it with my voice right now, going, Granda! Yeah. He was sitting next to Hans Zimmer in his studio chatting about it.
Right, okay.
Which was really interesting, because obviously I think you had the apartheid going on and stuff like this at the time.
So was Hans Zimmer not there?
No, he's not. He's not at any of them.
Right. He's connecting via video.
Yeah, but the conductor that's been doing all the work with him with his scoring.
Mm-hmm.
He did the conducting, but he was on stage by fire of. Well, I say it wasn't a video, but it's going to be a recording anyway.
Mm-hmm.
To go through the show as well. But he did have a big influence on how the show was put together, what he wanted in the show, how it was going to sound, and everything else. So yeah, I'm sure he's a busy man at the moment because I think he's scoring the Lion King remake
right
at the moment. What was pretty cool was I don't know if you remember the film Inception.
Yes.
There's a track which is called Time, which is on a piano.
Mm-hmm.
And what they did was he was playing it on the piano with a dolly camera going round as he was playing it, and then the rest of the orchestra joined in, and that was pretty cool. And there's one more piece they did at the end, which is not actually in the program notes, and there was a big section for Pirates of the Caribbean.
All right, okay.
And they had different parts of the score with some fight sequences on in the background, and that sounded amazing. Really, really good. And considering where the seats were, we were on the ground level in front of the audience.
Right.
And pretty good view. I mean, I did put a few pictures up on Facebook and Twitter. And I did put a little bit of recording of The Dark Knight on Facebook. And that went on Twitter as well. But it's just absolutely amazing. And if I can get to do something like this again, I will. Because it's very on the quiet, some of these sort of shows. Because they're not there. I mean, it was sold out. It was absolutely heaving with people. And there's people like Ennio Morricone. You know, he's doing a tour at the moment, but I don't think he's coming to the UK. But this is going to be his last one. He's in his 90s now. And he's done some fantastic stuff over the years. And unfortunately, a lot of the stuff that we love and cherish now, some of the composers aren't with us. So, but you do get these events like at the Royal Albert Hall where they'll have like the movie on in the background on big screen.
Yeah.
I remember us talking about it before. We were looking at the Star Trek one. Do you remember?
I do, yeah.
So, yeah, thanks again to Mike for that. I thoroughly enjoyed that. That was one of the amazing nights at any concert I've ever had. And considering it's that sort of show, which is all orchestral, I mean, yeah, absolutely amazing. I did pick up the CD as well while I was there.
As you do.
As you do.
Not the record. Didn't they have a vinyl?
They didn't have any vinyl for sale because I did have a pop at them about that. But to be honest, the CD is fine. But I will pick up the Blu-ray for the show in Prague at some point, which is actually, as I said earlier, is coming out now. And it's it's been recorded in 4K, and that'd be worth having a look at. Even if you check it out on YouTube, it'll give you a bit of an idea of what they had on the show. It sort of gives you, from how they did it and everything. But thoroughly enjoyed it. A great evening.
Oh, very cool.
And another one ticked off in the book. Anyhow, should we move on to gaming this week?
Yep.
No longer a dream, but a reality.
Okay, so there was some big news this week regarding Google. Now, it passed me by a little bit. I did watch a 14-minute video of it. I got a funny feeling, was that Jane Raymond that was in it as well? Did you watch the same one?
I didn't watch the video, to be honest.
Okay, so what do you know about it then? Because you might know more than me as you put the notes in with this.
Right, okay, well, what the announcement is about Stadia, which is basically a streaming service, a gaming service. So there's no additional hardware required. All that you need to have is an internet connection and support for Google Chrome. So, as I said, it's subscription based. It's capable of streaming games at 4K resolution at 60 frames a second, and support for high dynamic range in that as well. Its service is integrated with YouTube, and its state share feature will allow users of Stadia to stream to launch a game on the service at the same time as save the state as a streamer as well. Also, it's compatible with HID class USB controllers, although they have designed their own proprietary controller, which kind of looks like a hybrid of the Xbox and the PlayStation controller, but the twin sticks are in the PlayStation controller sort of like positions.
Yeah.
And confirmed coming to the service are evidently Assassin's Creed Odyssey and Doom Eternal.
Yeah, that's what they actually showed on the demonstration on stage.
Yeah.
So you could be watching on Google a video of Assassin's Creed, and from there you can then click it and go straight to the game.
Mm-hmm.
And then what they did, they showed you coming out of the game from a tablet to a phone to a PC, and just explaining that as what you've just said. But it looked pretty cool how it worked. Now this is obviously just on stage, and it's just a demonstration of what the idea is.
Yeah.
Whether or not, I can't say this is going to be a console killer, because there's too many games on the consoles to not allow them to carry on, to be honest.
Well, in terms of it, what I'm not really clear on is it like a Netflix sort of deal? Or what is it? Netflix or PlayStation Now, something like that, because it is a subscription service. Are you subscribing like the same way as you subscribe to, Plus or Live? Or do you get something else with it?
I didn't hear too much about that.
No, exactly. So, and can you buy games on the system?
Yeah,
there's so many questions.
Oh, yes. I mean, the way they were showing you that the base of the idea is that you could use a bog standard low spec PC.
Well, anything.
Yeah, and
anything with an internet connection and a Chrome.
Yeah, and they did say that they want to integrate it into the TVs. Even so, the older TVs as well. So you could go from your TV, from your phone to a tablet device to your TV to PC.
Yeah,
I like the idea of that, but again, I can't see that you'd be actually owning anything.
No, I have to admit personally, while it's a clever idea, I think this is a shame the way that they've gone, because I do think that what they should have done is bring out a box, as in a fully fledged console, rather than doing it this way. I can understand why they've gone this way, but the point is that even in this country nowadays, and especially in America and other countries, the internet connection's not up to this.
Well, I was going to say, what if we're relying on our service providers for this?
Yeah.
To give you a steady internet connection.
Yeah.
But there are days when your internet connection can be down for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And then when it's down, you can't play.
No, exactly. Having said that, though, a lot of the games that we play anyway, you can't play. But you still have the option of loading up something else.
Yeah, exactly. So I think this could be something for the future, but at the moment, we'll just have to wait and see how it pans out, to be honest.
I'm not convinced with it. I think it's probably 10 years too early, to be honest. I mean, it'd be good if it did take off, but there is other services that's already doing that, if you're being honest. There's been on Live, which died, but there is, other services out there which just streams PC games. So I don't know if these are PC games that have been adapted or what they are, or if they've actually, been developed separately for a completely separate system. I doubt that'll be the case. Maybe, it's like it'll probably be a PC version with a Stadia overlay or something or other like that.
Yeah, well, we'll have to just wait and see. It's something else, another idea of a platform you can use. I won't say this is not a console killer. It's something that will run in tandem with everyone else at the moment.
Yeah, definitely.
So what other news have you got for us?
Okay, so Quantic Dreams, as we know, have been responsible for a lot of PlayStation exclusives. Well, they're another developer who is following suit with lots of other developers recently and leaving Sony in droves. Because now a lot of their games, such as Heavy Rain, Beyond Two Souls, and Detroit Become Human, are now being released on PC.
Yeah, good. That's good for them, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I mean, to be honest, in terms of, system development, unless you're actually a company that is owned by Sony, there is no advantage to just releasing it on one unless you're getting a massive handout from Sony. Because otherwise all that you're doing is, you're cutting off your nose to spite your face, because while there is big differences in the systems, there's not as big as all of that.
No.
So, it's just one of those things that's going to happen. Be interesting to see if this comes to Xbox One or Xbox One X as well. But there's no indications of that. However, another thing that was advertised at the Game Developers Conference was Vampire the Masquerade, which is Bloodborne 2. And the sequel, basically, is been in development since 2015 and will be released for consoles and PC in 2020. So by the indication of that saying consoles, it seems to indicate that it's coming to Xbox as well.
Yeah, it's good for everyone. I don't want to see this exclusivity anymore.
No.
I just like to see everyone get the games to play.
Yeah.
Even if you're going to hate some of them, because what did I see announced this week? Was it Cuphead coming to Switch?
Yes, that was another thing that came out of GDC.
Not one you'll be scrambling for, I should imagine.
No, definitely not.
Excuse me. But again, you're getting a lot of cross-platforming here, which gives everyone the chance to enjoy these games, in the best way possible.
Absolutely, and there's a lot of games coming out on the Switch. It's a massively popular platform. It seems to have gone a bit quiet on the redesigned Switch again, but I still think that'll come through. Yeah, as I predicted 2 years ago.
Okay, our soothsayer. Yes.
Okay.
Anything else? I think that's about it, isn't it?
No, that's about it, yeah.
Okay, so we go to new releases. Now, you've edited it already. That was nice of you.
Sorry?
You just edited new releases and I've blinked my eyes and they changed.
Yeah, no, it's got the most up to date because I had last week's new releases. Yeah. We didn't do them last week.
Okay, so I'll read these and you can do the small words that says video game charts.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so anyway, 26th of the 3rd, we've got Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah.
Digital only on the Switch. Which is now everything that's available in any shape or form at the moment. It's even on the Xbox, so knock yourself out there with a great game.
Just wait for it to get released on the Casio watch now.
Ah, brilliant. I'd go for that. We have got Generation Zero on PlayStation 4, Xbox One and PC. Also, we have Outward, same again. Xenon Racer, PlayStation 4, Xbox, Switch, and PC. Then we got the 29th. We got the Assassin's Creed 3 Remastered, which should be coming to everyone that's got the season pass. If I remember rightly, is it?
Yeah, if you've got the Gold Edition or the Season Pass or the Ultimate Edition, then you will get Assassin's Creed 3 Remastered and also Assassin's Creed Liberation.
Yeah, so look, that'll be, end of the month, isn't it? That's
next Friday.
Next Friday.
Yeah.
We've got
this Friday by the time everybody actually listens to this.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Yeah.
We got Dang Grand Upi Trilogy on the PlayStation 4. Another, so also on the 29th, this is a bit of a mouthful. We got Nelki and the Legend Alchemist, Alteras of the New World, PlayStation 4, Switch, and PC. And on the 26th, which is shifted because Aidan didn't do it correctly, we've also got Telltale's The Walking Dead final season, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Switch.
I would say that I copied this off a website, so
yeah, so
because the website didn't do it right.
Okay, so the rest of these, the last one will be the 30th. Also for the 29th, we've got Kingdom Hearts The Story so far, PlayStation 4, Squishes, PSVR, The Legend of Heroes Trials of the Cold Steel on the PlayStation 4, The Princess's Guide, PlayStation 4 Switch, Tropica Switch on the PC, Yoshi's Crafted World on the Switch, and on the 30th we have The Liar Princess and the Blind Prince, digital only on the PlayStation 4 and the Switch. Which sounds like a big cartoon of some form, but I'm sure it will be looking like that anyway. So, nothing really shouts out there at the moment.
Well, Assassin's Creed, looking forward to that.
Yeah.
I would, previous years I would have said Tropico 6, but I've kind of lost interest in those.
Yeah.
But I do want to play Telltale's The Walking Dead, the final season.
I haven't been to that yet. I've played all of it up to date, so it'd be nice to get the finished story as much as it's finished, shall we say?
Yeah, see what happens to Clementine.
Yeah, so
I think it'd be fantastic if they brought Clementine into the TV series.
I've just not bothered to go back to it. I really haven't.
You're missing out.
So they say. Anyway, video game charts. What we got?
Okay, so at number 5, up from number 7, we've got The Lego Movie 2. At number 4, up from 5, FIFA 19. At 3, somehow, I don't know how this gets in the chart still. GTA 5 at 3 from 10. At number 2, holding its position, is Red Dead Redemption 2. And at number 1, we have Tom Clancy's Division 2.
Which a lot of people are playing right now.
Including myself.
And I will wait till it's damn cheaper. So there you go. But I'm sure you better tell us about that later.
Yeah.
Okay. So no Games for Gold, no PlayStation Plus.
Not yet.
No. It should be around the corner though.
Yeah. By the next show we'll know.
Yeah, probably be Monday, I'd imagine.
I would have thought
this
so.
Weekend. So let's move into what I'm going to say is probably going to be a quick gaming this week. Are you going to timestamp this and do a clap?
No, I'm not, because it's still the same game in this week's section.
Well,
that you do every time.
I know, because I said anyway. That's by the by. It's probably the bourbon, because that's really warming my throat at the minute.
Yeah.
Anyway, so really, just for me, it's been Destiny 2 at the moment. I won't be picking up the Division for a while, because even if I did, I wouldn't be playing it much anyway, because I'm so heavily invested into Destiny right now. And with all the new content and stuff that's out at the minute, I've got plenty to play.
Yeah.
And just to talk quickly about the Thorn quest. So there's one part of this quest, as we said earlier, you have to go in the Crucible and you have to kill with hand cannons to get your best percentages to get to 100%. From there, you'll move on to the last part, which would be like a strike to do anyway, and then that'll be done. It's yours. But what's really good is that there is a weapon. I looked on YouTube this afternoon because I kept trying to load different sort of ideas of a sort of set of weapons that I could work with. And as you know, when you go into the Crucible, sometimes you can have a good game and a bad game, and you think it's your weapons, but it's not. It's actually you, because we can be so bad at it. So anyway, I was looking online and I come across a video saying that one to use, which if you've played Warmind, it should be in your set set of weapons that you played during the game, which you can bring one out from that without having to pay. Well, you got to pay for it, obviously, but it should be there in your itinerary, and that's Elikius HCV 1.1.0.1. Do you remember this hand cannon kicking around at all?
Yeah, I've got it in my arsenal.
So I've now got it at 682, and I thought I'd give it a go. And do you know what? I started yesterday, played a couple of hours yesterday, I played a couple of hours today, and I'm on 26%.
So it's a long grind then.
Well, do you know, I've only played a few hours, but let's say I'm a quarter of the way there.
So 8 hours grind
now
on one bit of the quest.
Well, it's just playing. You're just going to be playing Crucible, which isn't your favourite cup of tea, is it?
No, it isn't.
But what it does say when you read the quest for that part,
mm-hmm.
It also says you will earn double during Iron Banner, and ironically, Iron Banner starts Tuesday.
Yes, it does.
So that means, hopefully, I should be able to eat this out a bit more.
Yeah, so we'll be seeing everybody running around with hand cannons.
Oh yeah, well actually there is at the minute, because when I was playing it this afternoon, everyone's running with hand cannons, and I'm okay with it. It's all right.
Mm.
So hopefully to get that quest done. Obviously Xur now gives you a quest for a little bit of story and some extra gear to get.
Yep.
I did that this afternoon. It's supposed to be a bit of a bug as well, where if you don't finish it by the Tuesday, you seem to lose it. But you can re-pick it up, and if you haven't started the first quest, which was last Friday, you should be able to get that at the moment.
Mm.
So, and then what they will do is they will put some cutscenes in here and there during the quests each week. So it gives you a bit more idea of the story with Xur, the Nine, and Gambit as well.
Yeah, well, I've completed it on the PC this week as well.
Right. So, yeah, it's really good. I mean, I'm really enjoying it. I mean, it is what it is. But it's right up my street at the minute. I can't get enough of it.
Mm.
And I know we got the odd 1 or 2 games coming out at the minute, but I can wait for that.
Well, you've also got really good games sat there that you're not playing.
Yes, that's right. And they will get played when they get played.
Which will be when the Destiny servers are taken offline.
See, what it is as long as you're enjoying gaming, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what you're playing, whether it's an old game or a new game or whatever. As long as you're having fun and enjoying it, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
So, what about yourself?
Well, obviously, we've been playing a bit of Destiny together one night, and with Chris. It was nice to have the original Fire team back together.
Yes.
So we got...
Well.
Yeah.
I was just about to say that, unfortunately, because you're doing more PC at the minute, aren't you? So you're not always around.
No. I'm definitely moving over to PC, I think. But my Xbox character's now actually 660, because I just before we came on managed to just get him up a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
And my PC character on Destiny on Battle.net is on 649.
Oh, okay.
So that's a big jump as well, because, it starts to slow down anyway.
Oh, yes, it does, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm quite pleased with with the progression on there as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I really wish that they would bring out keyboard and mouse support for Destiny 2 on the Xbox.
Well, that's a sticky situation when you're going to be playing against people with controllers, so you can see why not.
Yeah, but when you go into Crucible and that, they could just set it up so that only people keyboard and mouse could play against each other.
Well, I don't know, because, obviously you've got all the different ways that you're going to be bringing people together in multiplayer. So I don't think it's probably viable at the minute. It's probably best to keep them separate.
But until they actually introduce it, it's always going to be like that.
Yeah, that's fine. I think so.
Yeah. But that's why I'm enjoying it on the PC more, is because of the keyboard and mouse, because it's amazing how much more accurate I am with it.
Yeah, so we'll see you get the Thorn Quest done pretty easy then.
I doubt that, because everybody else is always also really good with it as well, especially on the blooming Crucible.
Yeah, I can imagine.
It's more like should be called the Crucified, to be quite honest. But yeah, so I've been enjoying that. I've also been playing another open world RPG, which is The Division 2.
Yeah, so how are you finding that? Because it is a game I did enjoy the first one.
Yeah.
Is it better, or is it, I mean, I'm hearing all sorts of stories. Whether or not they're true or not, I don't know. But, it's, again, we hear these stories of the game's not great, not running well, could be running well. I don't know what to believe these days, so.
I've had no problems. Well, I've had one problem with the game once.
Yeah.
And that, no, actually, no, a couple of times it's crashed on us on a PC. And then another time, I was doing something in the world and I got stuck in the scenery and I had to wait for them to kill me so that I would then be able to respawn.
Oh, okay. Because
I couldn't move. And I think it was because I'd pressed a couple of keys and obviously just caught it to the point of getting stuck in the scenery, and then it just wouldn't let me move at all. But probably just, it was a random happen chance, to be honest. But it plays so incredibly well. The gameplay is very similar to the original. The one thing I have noticed is that enemies don't feel like the bullet sponges that they were. It certainly rewards you more for being more accurate with your shots rather than, hitting anywhere. If you hit certain areas like the head, the health goes down a lot faster. You've got obviously your enemies as well who have armour, and concentrating your firepower on an area to blast a piece of armour off, which is, quite a good way of playing it. The other thing as well is I feel that the AI seems to have been improved a little bit from the last one. They stay in cover an awful lot more, and they will also try and outflank you as well. So you might be, sat there hiding, ducking behind cover, and then suddenly you'll be getting shot at or hit over the head because someone's come up behind you.
Okay.
So it does encourage you to keep on moving and stuff like that. They will also be using grenades and things like that at you as well, which get stuck in a grenade blast, and that's pretty damaging to you. There's some new equipment like drones. So remember before you used to have the machine gun turrets?
Yeah.
Well, now you've got flying drones with machine guns on.
Does it work well? Is it the way they implement it and everything?
Yeah. And there's lots of different things with it to the older game as well. So the older game, you used to complete certain missions and then go back and upgrade your base. Well, completing missions on this one and upgrading your base and outposts opens up more of the game for you. So before you used to have like your main base that you upgraded. Well, now you also upgrade the outposts. Some other tips I've come up with as well is when you take over a control point, make sure that you always go to the supply room at the control point as well, because that's full of lots of valuable loot in the background. And also another really key thing is transitioning from cover to cover is really the way to go when you're in a firefight, because that way you can, keep yourself free from bullets or whatever a lot more, so that, because you run ducked, so that, you don't get hit as much. Whereas if you come out of cover and run, then you're going to get attacked. So that, that's quite a nice little mechanic there. The other thing as well is you can manually reload the gun like in most other games, but it's a wise idea to do so because it leaves a bullet in the chamber.
Right.
So let's say that your gun holds 30 bullets. If you automatically do it, then you'll have 30 bullets. Whereas if you manually do it, you'll have 31, and that one might be the difference between you taking down someone and having to, empty your clip and then wait for the animation sequence to go and then shoot him again, which could mean the time that he kills you. So it's definitely much better to do it that way. Also, doing a dodge roll can cancel some of the reload animation, and if you get the timing right with some guns, that can give you a full clip.
Okay.
So it's just a little tip there. And also with the projects in settlements as well, that you can craft things separately. And once you've completed the crafting project, if you head back to the White House, the crafting station, to make them before taking on another project as well is another good way of going. There's also like an XP boost that you can get in as a skill. It's best to get that early on so that it obviously continues to boost all the way.
Okay,
so
cool.
There's lots of little different things. And another thing I've found as well is rather than if you're undercover and then you want to, get to or jump over a wall or whatever and carry on running, rather than just pressing, the climb button to climb over the wall from being ducked behind cover, it's best to do a step back and then press the climb button that way because it seems to get you over stuff quicker.
Oh, okay.
Very, very slightly, but those are some of the tips that I picked up while playing it. But it looks absolutely superb. There's the environment's really lush and good. There's loads of things to do in the game as well. There's constantly seems to be things cropping up in there as well. I'm not that far into it, to be quite honest with you. I'm about I've been playing it for a few hours, but I'm only about level 7 or 8, so I've got a long way to go. But other things have been taking up my time, so
well, absolutely,
yeah.
Anything else?
No, that's it. It's been pretty quiet. I've not been playing very much apart from those 2 games. I haven't even been playing Anthem, actually.
Yeah, well, I say, can you play one game at a time? That's what I say.
Yeah, that's true.
Anyway, so while I try and do a quiet cough, because I really need to at the minute, shall we move on?
Yeah.
In quest of a better life,
Okay, so we now move into the next section. I'm going to say it politely for movies, TV, and streaming. So, news-wise, Hayden, what have you got?
Okay, well, one thing I have got is the runtimes for Games of Thrones Season 8. So there's going to be 6 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Episode 1 will be 54 minutes long. Episode 2, 58. Episode 3, 60. Episode 4 will be 78 minutes long. And then the last 2 episodes will each be 80 minutes.
And that is it, then, is it? No more?
And until the prequel.
Mm.
Yeah, which is set 1,000 years before the adventures in Westeros.
Well, that doesn't even make any sense, does it?
Why?
What I'm saying is, it's going to be so far apart. You probably won't need to see one to see the other.
No, you won't. But that's the thing; they're making it more dragony because 1,000 years ago in Game of Thrones world, then there was lots of dragons, wasn't there?
Oh, okay.
So it's, but I don't think it'll have changed any in terms of, I just think it allows them to keep that sort of Knights in Armour sort of style TV series, but just add dragons to what they've already got. And rename all of the lands as well, because that's evidently another thing in the latest version, is that there's no King's Landing and all of that, but it's still set in the same places.
So Berkshire is still Berkshire then?
Yeah.
Okay. So, something else you got here, which I actually saw the tweet for.
Yep. And that's Bill and Ted 3 is confirmed by Keanu Reeves and Alex Winter in a video.
I hope it's going to be good. I know this is, it's difficult to top off the original. The sequel was okay.
Yeah.
But we'll have to wait and see. I mean, proof's in the pudding here for that.
Oh, absolutely. But nearly 30 years since The Bogus Journey.
Unreal, isn't it?
It is. Do you know what? I remember going to see The Bogus Journey as well. And, it went with my wife. That's for sure.
Because that was with Death, wasn't it, if I remember rightly?
Yes, it was. It was.
And he's the bad guy in Die Hard 2, isn't he?
Yeah.
So, yeah, God, yeah, that was some time ago.
Yeah.
But they're good fun. I mean, it's like saying if we could get back Wayne's World, same sort of thing, isn't it?
It is, but it's a threequel title named Bill and Ted Face the Music.
Yeah.
And it's scheduled for a release in summer 2020.
It's not far off, is it?
A year.
Yeah.
And a bit. Year and a quarter.
So, yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
So it's whether or not we'll be going, party time. Excellent.
Yeah. It'd be something to see. I mean, I'm sure we won't be disappointed. And Keanu Reeves, I mean, even when they did the quick little bit of video they did there, they've still got it in them.
Yeah. I wonder if we'll actually see a Wayne's World as well.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, after seeing those guys on stage using their characters in the Oscars, I don't see why not. It's easy to bring something out.
I think it'd be good if they did.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
So, okay, so cinema releases this month, say this week. But the 22nd of March, we've got Us, 5 Feet Apart, and The White Crow. I should know something about Us, but I've forgotten what that was now. I haven't really looked into it. But there's some bigger movies to come out shortly anyway, isn't there? So,
like Avengers.
Absolutely. And also Pet Sematary.
Yes.
Which, maybe not your cup of tea. Oh boy, I'm looking forward to that one as well.
Yeah, I'm quite looking forward to that. But coming on the 29th, which is next Friday, we've also got Dumbo, Lords of Chaos, and At Eternity's Gate.
Yeah, I'm not keen about Dumbo, to be honest.
No, I think it'll be pretty naff.
I'm sure I'll get a good view of that when it comes out. I'm sure my stepdaughter will go and see it because they got a cinema pass, so they go to every film that comes out now. So they'd probably be well movied out, but we'll see. Anyway, Blu-ray releases, DVDs. What we got, Hang?
Well, we've got Creed 2 on Blu-ray, 4K and DVD, as well as Creed 1 and 2 on Blu-ray and DVD.
But not 4K.
But not 4K. We've got Doctor Who, the Macra Terror on Blu-ray and DVD as well. Pet Sematary on Blu-ray and 4K, the 30th anniversary edition. We've got Superman, Shazam, The Return of Black Adam on DVD as well, so for the more cartoony kind of ones. And I'm sure that there'll be probably one or two in there that you'd want to raise as well.
Suspiria.
Swamp Thing.
Yeah, Swamp Thing, but I will say Suspiria, 1977.
Yeah.
No, I've recently purchased a version of Suspiria from that edition. I don't know what the difference is, but I think the one I got is a 4K transfer.
Yeah.
But yeah, well worth a watch. And just having a sort of a browse there, you've got, for those like a bit of the horror, you've got Cannibal Terror and Candyman Farewell to the Flesh, which if I remember rightly, Candyman's getting a bit of a reboot as well. So that would be quite interesting. And for all you mums out there, we've got Torval and Dean on ITV.
Well, you don't necessarily need to be a mum to like Torval and Dean. Anybody who likes dancing on ice.
Yeah, God, I actually remember when that actually was happening. Jesus, that's such a long time ago.
I know. Should I do the charts?
Yeah, so, I tell you what, you can do the chart because you've got better eyes than I have at this distance.
Okay. So for cinema charts at number 5, we have Fighting with My Family. At number 4, we have The Lego Movie. Number 3, we have What Men Want. At number 2, we have everybody's favourite cough sweet, Fisherman's Friend. And at number 1, it's no surprise really, it's Captain Marvel.
Yes, not bad. Though I do want to see Fisherman's Friends, though, actually.
Well, just go to Holland and Barrett, mate. They've got loads of them.
To be honest, though, I could do with that right now.
I think you could.
And you're surprised you didn't even bring that one up. But anyway.
Get some omega fish oil in you.
Oh, God, yeah. So, Blu-ray DVD charts, we have, from 4 down to 5, we've got Avengers Infinity War. From 2 down to 4, we've got A Star is Born. In at 3, we have The Grinch. In at 2, we've got Overload. And still at 1, we've got Bohemian Rhapsody.
Or Overlord, even.
No, Bohemian Rhapsody is number 1.
No, number 2. You said Overlord.
I did say Overlord. That's what it says.
Lord.
Overlord.
Overlord.
Is it Lordy? Anyway, so yeah, Overlord. That's the J.J. Abrams movie, if I remember rightly. So, we move into what we've been watching. And actually, going back to the releases we saw there, I did actually sit down and watch Pet Sematary this week. Just after noticing it's going to be bringing a 30th anniversary edition out in 4K. I
can't remember the last time I saw that movie, to be honest.
Yeah, well, I always remember because Herman Munster's in it. But it still packs a punch, and obviously we have a little Star Trek connection in there.
Yeah.
As well, with, oh God, come on, help me out here. Someone that passed away in The Next Generation, quite early on. That was Tasha Yar.
Yes.
But I did sit down with
No, it's not Denise Richards. Sorry. I know what you mean, who you mean, yeah.
Yeah, it's Tasha Yar's good enough. Anyway, So I really enjoyed watching that again. I'm looking forward to seeing the new one, which is supposed to be as scary as hell. So other than that, after being at Hans Zimmer last week and seeing the music for Rush, I watched that last night, and I've got to say I was pretty impressed with Chris Hemsworth playing James Hunt and Daniel Bruhl playing Niki Lauda. If you don't, this can be spoke to the ridiculous, because if you don't know the story of James Hunt and Niki Lauda, then I don't know what. But anyway, the story's based around the year 1976, when the year that James Hunt goes on to win the Formula One championship.
Yeah.
And in the same year, Niki Lauda had the infamous car crash, which burnt the side of his face. Which, if you've seen pictures of what he looks like now, is he went through hell with that.
Yeah.
Chris Hemsworth did a good James Hunt. He just pulled off a good little British accent for it, and he was a bit of a playboy. That guy certainly knew how to party. But if you're a fan of F1, I would thoroughly recommend it.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good. And apparently, I didn't notice, so I found it the other day. This was all filmed. The motor racing scenes were filmed at Blackbush, which isn't far from Farnborough.
Right.
And there's a market there they have on the weekend, Blackbush Market.
Yeah.
On the airfield, but that's where they did the filming for it.
Oh right, okay.
But yeah, thoroughly enjoyed it. Chris Hemsworth. If you're a fan of Chris Hemsworth, it's worth a watch anyway. So you might even give it a go, see what you think, because
it's one of those films of it's on my radar, but it's not one that I'm actively looking for.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like one of those ones of one day I'll get round to seeing it.
Yeah.
But it'll probably be on E4 or something like that. Or Film 4.
Well, yeah, possibly. But honestly, I would thoroughly recommend it. It's I didn't realise how long ago this came out. Because this was way back in 2013.
I was going to say it's about 2012-13.
Yeah. But no, I thoroughly enjoyed it, and one I could probably watch a second time anyway.
Yeah.
But there's a couple of other F1 movies of late. There's a new one on Netflix at the moment which I need to have a look at, which I'll come to at some point, and we'll talk about it. But what about your viewing this week? Because you've watched a few movies that I think I've seen them all anyway myself. So
yeah, well, one of them is a classic one that we both love, which is Beetlejuice. Finally picked this up on Blu-ray.
Is it just a movie? Is there any little specials, bits and pieces with it at all or not?
Yeah, there is a few bits and pieces specials, but I haven't watched them yet. But Michael Keaton, he never grows old, does that guy, does he, in terms of his delivery of anything. I absolutely love him as an actor and a comedian. But I mean, I used to absolutely love this film. And when you look at it now, it is very cheesy. But, it's like, look at how things have changed, like Alec Baldwin being young and thin.
Well, I don't worry about any of that with that movie.
No, but the one thing that got me, though, was Winona Ryder. It was a young girl, and now she's Spock's mum in the Kelvin universe. Yeah. But it's absolutely classic movie. If you've never seen it, it's certainly worth a watch. It's just very typical Michael Keaton delivery in terms of humour. And
very typical Tim Burton as well.
Yes, it's just so laced with Tim Burton in everything, isn't it?
Yeah.
The design, the whole look. It's just Tim Burton all the way through.
And I must admit, I did pick up. This came out recently as a special pressing for the soundtrack,
right?
Which does include the Banana Boat song, whatever it is, on it as well.
Yeah.
When they do the party stuff and that, and it's brilliant. So well done.
Yeah, and it has what do you call him? Ed Rooney off Ferris Bueller on it as well.
Yeah, because he buys a house, doesn't he?
He does, yeah. Him and his really weird wife, and then they completely redecorate the house. This is all in the first act. We're not spoiling anything for anybody. But this is basically Alec Baldwin and his wife, who is, I've forgotten what her name is.
Oh, Jesus. I thought you've heard that come up by now.
No. I can't remember what she's called.
She is, if I remember rightly, is Jenna Davis.
Jenna Davis, yeah. They die in an accident, and then the house gets sold, but they're still living in the house as ghosts, and they don't like what's happened, so they invoke Beetlejuice to help them evict the living tenants of the house, or the living owners of the house.
Yeah. That's
the basic storyline. And it's just such a funny film. It has aged, but I still enjoyed watching it.
Well, it's like with what you watched last week when you watched Little Shop of Horrors.
Yeah, that's aged, but it doesn't mean it's not fun to watch.
No, but those sort of films, that's the same sort of 80s era, wasn't it?
It is, yeah, and it does feel 80s as well.
Yeah, but there's nothing wrong with that, because 80s is cool these days, believe it or not.
Yeah, very true.
And as I say, there's always been talk, and I'm going to still say this now, I still think there will be a sequel.
I think there might be. I'm sure I'd heard something that were in talks about it.
Yeah, it's something that I still think they could do.
Yeah.
And so Michael Keaton, check out some of his other movies he's done over the years, because that guy, he's class. He's done stuff where he's like sort of a serial killer type as well before.
Oh, God, that was a good film.
Pacific Heights, was it called?
Yes.
And someone moved in above him or below him in this sort of flat?
No, he moved into their house.
That was it, yeah.
He rented was it a basement?
Or one part of the flat, didn't they? But, yeah, very good movie, that one.
Yeah. No, he's a really good actor. But, yeah, definitely worth it's a classic, is Beetlejuice.
And he's still Batman.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned. And he still says to people, I'm still Batman.
Yeah.
Don't you mess around with that.
Great guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm going to do these in slightly different order to what I've put in the thing. So the next film is another film from many years ago that I watched, which is The Fifth Element.
Yeah, now I've not seen that in a while.
No.
I must admit.
And, it's Fifth Element's always been one of my favourite sort of sci-fi movies, to be quite honest. I've loved it for absolutely years. The soundtrack, which is by Eric Serra, I think is really good. It's got, is it Jean-Paul Gaultier?
Well, he did all the design for the clothes, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. He did indeed.
Even Mila Jovovich's outfit, should we say?
Yeah.
Which is a lot to be desired there, isn't it?
Well, the bandaged outfit particularly, there's not much to it, is there? But
no, not at all.
It's just a classic sort of sci-fi movie that stars Bruce Willis in a very much sort of really die-hardy kind of vein, really, isn't it? Especially when they're on that flying boat come spaceship.
Because he's a taxi driver, remember, right, isn't he?
He is, yeah.
And she falls out of the sky into his cab.
That's right.
That's all we'll say. I wouldn't want to spoil it, so it's worth watching. Definitely.
And Gary Oldman is one of the two baddies. Basically, the story is The Fifth Element. The Fifth Element is actually Mila, because it's about the Fifth Element's life. But there's also earth, fire, wind and water as the other elements. And once every, 10,000 years or something, the five elements have to converge to fight off the ultimate evil. And as it happens, the ultimate evil's on its way.
Yeah, because you got Gary Oldman in this, haven't you?
Yeah, well, he plays like the henchman to the ultimate evil, doesn't he? Because he plays Zorg.
And I didn't realise this, but Lee Evans is in this.
Yes, he is.
I forgot that.
Yeah, he is. He is like a member of the crew on the ship.
And you got Christopher Fairbank, who was in Our Billy St. Pet.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think who else was in this. Oh, yeah, there's another guy. His name's I think it's Brian James, and he was also in Blade Runner, one of the androids.
Yes. I
remember him saying, well, he was just about to take out Harrison Ford and says, "Time to die," but he gets wasted.
Yes, he is, yeah.
Do you remember? So, yeah, and you got Ian Holm as well.
Yes, because he's the leader of this religious cult.
So there's a big cast in that, and I think it's very much a cult movie these days.
Oh, definitely, and it's certainly one that is really so well worth watching. I do think it has aged quite a bit, in comparison to some other movies, but it's still fantastic. And I do think that the interpretation of whichever city it is on Earth, where it's sort of like that metropolis.
Yeah, I know what you mean by that. Yeah, I totally agree.
Because there's like sky channels, isn't there? I'm trying to remember what was the name of the actor who died? Luke Perry. He's in it as well at the beginning.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he was.
So there's loads, absolutely loads of famous people in it. It's action, it's comedy, it's sci-fi.
Yeah, don't be put off by the clothes, though. I was thinking it's a bit of a weird film because of John Paul Gaultier's style, but that's just the way it is with him.
Yeah, it's also got Chris Tucker as well as Ruby Rod.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And do you know what? I still can't understand a word he says because he does that silly screeching voice, doesn't he? And I can't understand him at all. I don't know what he's saying in the whole movie. I'd have to put subtitles on to understand him.
Yeah.
All I understand is when he says green. That's the only thing I can understand.
But I might actually have a quick look. I might dig it out of my collection and have a quick look tonight, just out of curiosity, because it's been a long time.
Yeah, that's a brilliant movie. Definitely worth watching.
Absolutely.
So the next one, I'm getting ready for Endgame. So I've watched Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the 4K version of it. Really enjoyed it.
I fell asleep the other day with it on because I was so tired. I just, it was like when you can't be bothered to game because you're too tired. So on the TV at the time was Guardians of the Galaxy 2. So I did nod off, but that's just because I was tired and I woke up near the end again.
Yeah.
But it's a class movie.
It is. And the music soundtrack in that film is absolutely perfect. And what I like as well is that the music that they play is actually woven into the story of it as well. So, it's just incredibly, incredibly good. So basically it's the second volume of, Guardians of the Galaxy. Now they're established as heroes in the galaxy. And, Peter Quill, who's Star-Lord, played by Chris Pratt, his character, finds his dad, or his dad finds him.
I've got to say this right, that the way they did a young Kurt Russell in that. Oh
my God, it's brilliant.
How freaky is it though? Because it is him, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
Oh, it is. I mean, because in terms of, if you look at Rogue One with the CGI with Peter Cushing, it wasn't quite. Do you know what I mean? It was fantastic.
Yeah.
But it was a little bit lifeless. But come Kurt Russell's character in Guardians of the Galaxy, and he was alive. He didn't look CGI at all. It looked like Kurt Russell from pre-Escape New York.
Well, it's probably going to be, you're talking late 70s, wasn't it?
Yeah. So pre-Escape from New York.
He had the hair, the look, the smile.
Yeah. Even the little dimples that he had.
Yeah, that's right.
All that detail, and it just looked so fresh-faced. He looked like he was in his very early 20s in it. And bearing in mind however old he is, he must be in his 60s or 70s.
Well, he played, last thing he actually played was probably Santa Claus on Netflix.
Yeah.
And rightly so, because he's got a white beard. So that probably worked out very much for him. I don't know what his kids must have thought of that, seeing him playing Santa Claus, but...
He's 78.
Yeah, good on him.
And he still looks fantastic for his age. But obviously, when he reveals himself as his father and he says, "I am ego," sort of thing, as an eternal, that's when you see him as he is now. But at the beginning of the movie, that opening, pre-credit sequence is brilliant.
Yeah, I do enjoy that because I do have the soundtrack on vinyl for this.
Yes, I have it on CD.
And those tracks they use from the 70s work so well.
Oh, brilliant! But both of them. What I did love though is the choice of music player that Peter Quill is given at the end of the movie.
Oh yeah, wasn't it? What was it now? I can't remember.
Don't say what it is because it'd ruin the surprise sort of thing.
Yeah, because it's quite appropriate though, isn't it?
It is, but it isn't at the same time. But that's fantastic film. Fantastic film. Really love it. And I think that the opening sequence with the Guardians as well, and that Mr. Blue Sky bit where Baby Groot is dancing around while all of the others are fighting that massive monster. It is just so funny. Yeah, no, it is a good film. Definitely.
I think I'd probably look forward to that more, Guardians of the Galaxy 3, than probably the end game, to be honest.
Evidently, we're going to have to have a bit of a wait, because I think Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is not going to be for another 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, well, I think we're going to sort of fall a bit quiet on the MC universe, aren't we, really?
Well, they're coming to the end of, the third stage, aren't they? And I think they haven't actually got any that's sort of ready to go.
No.
After this. So it'll be interesting. I think they've been concentrating on the Fox merger more.
Yeah. Actually, I'll tell you what I'd recommend to watch, if you've not seen it. Mm-hmm. Is Tango and Cash.
Oh, yeah, I've got that.
Now, I saw that, I think, was it the other night it was on? I just happened to browse it, and I started watching it. But Sylvester Stallone and Kurt Russell together, that is just hilarious. It is cheese with a capital C, but it's well worth a watch.
Oh, that is a chopping board full of cheese, to be honest.
Yeah. And you got Jack Palance in there, that's the one of the baddies in the prison.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't think he's actually in the prison, because he's not. He seemed to get inside there to just cause those two guys pain because of all the people they put in jail.
Yeah.
But there's a few movies that Kurt Russell have done over the years. So I'm going to say after The Thing, because that's one of his best movies.
I need to rewatch that, to be honest. I got The Thing and the prequel that was done years later.
Yeah.
And I still haven't watched them yet. I bought it, but I've not watched it. I'm going to have to get it seen.
The Thing is a perfect movie that doesn't need to be touched.
No.
Now, I know, hands up and on them for that, for doing a prequel. And I won't mention what happens in the prequel, because I want you to watch it. If you've seen The Thing before, what I recommend is that if you watch the prequel first anyway, and then watch The Thing afterwards.
Yeah. And
then tell me what you think. I mean, it's okay, but the original Thing, practical effects, I love that in movies, and especially horror movies. It's an old dying art, because CG's taken over the world now. But
don't you think that a lot of film directors and whatever are now going backwards? Because look at J.J. Abrams, he wanted more practical.
Yeah, true. I mean, it's a shame that some of the people that did it back in the day aren't with us now. And that was a fine art in those days.
It was. Especially
in the 80s, when you had all those movies, horror movies with a lot of blood and prosthetics of all sorts. They were just fantastic.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. I do love Kurt Russell. He's one of my favourite actors from that era.
He is mine as well.
Yeah. And actually, it's well worth watching Overboard.
Yes, with Goldie Hawn.
Yeah, because that's funny. But my missus the other day, she started to watch the remake.
Not the same.
But she turned it off.
Yeah.
You know, and also actually, it's another good one. Is where he plays Wyatt Earp in Tombstone.
I've not seen that. Not seen that.
That's well worth a watch for the a telling on the story of the gunfight at the OK Corral, stuff like that.
Never seen it, but it's cowboys, so it's not my bag particularly.
Oh, of course, yeah, you're not into cowboys.
No.
Anyway, should we move on?
I haven't said my last film yet.
Oh, what's that?
Thor Ragnarok.
Oh, okay, yeah. Again?
Yeah, I watched it again in 4K. Looks absolutely stunning. But obviously this one feeds directly into Endgame because the end credits sequence links to the start of Endgame. Not Endgame, Infinity War.
Oh, okay.
So hence why I watched it. So I'm not really going to say much more about that because I've talked about it on the show before, but I would say that's one of my favourite Marvel movies, to be honest.
Yes, yeah, that's right. You did say that that comedy is one of your favourites.
Well, I wouldn't say it's an all-out comedy, to be honest. It's an action comedy. There's all sorts that goes on. There's a lot of nods. The music's fantastic. That sort of retro 80s future sort of like music score and the animations, you know, and the special effects, they all sort of like link into that whole thing. But I also love the introduction of Hela, who's Thor's sister, into the world, and she's the big bad. It's the first time really that they've had a really proper evil female enemy or bad guy.
Yeah.
And she does it fantastically as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So anyway, let's move on.
Okay, so let's go to listeners' questions.
John, what's happening to us?
Okay, so we'll start with Mark as usual. He's got a couple of questions for us. The first one is, how long will it be before you're playing photorealistic games? I would say this before you answer your question. I don't really want to play photorealistic games, to be honest, as such.
I think it depends upon what you're referring to as photorealistic. If you're talking about the characters, I think that's a bit off. I think if you're talking about the scenery, I would argue that we're more or less there.
I suppose when you're looking at some of the cutscenes we're seeing now in CGI,
yeah,
that they are as good as it's going to get. Really, I can't see where we can go any further with that at the moment.
No, I can imagine they're going to get better.
Possibly, yeah.
I think that the new technologies, like from NVIDIA with the ray tracing, will make a big difference. Not this generation, but maybe 1 or 2 generations down the road for NVIDIA. I think that's going to make a massive difference to the quality of graphics.
Yeah, I should think so. But we'll see. I mean, the way things move at the moment, we could, within the next 10 years, if we're still playing games then.
As opposed to wearing tinfoil suits and going around on rocket cycles.
Well, yeah, something like Back to the Future or something,
Have a hoverboard.
Being a bit old and granddaddy-like, as we will be, some of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see, really. Only time will tell.
Indeed.
Okay, do you want to do number 2, yeah?
Okay, what do you see as the big faults in games? What are your instant turn-offs?
Well, at the moment, they're trying to bring out these games too quickly, too fast, and they're unfinished, and not really sitting right with whether it's going to be the servers, how they run. It's like they seem to be a bit more slack in how they're bringing games out at the moment.
I think so. I think you're right.
I hate to say that, but it's like, we all love to see the latest game, and you so look forward to it. And then to be honest, the only one that worked well so far for me that didn't have these problems was Resident Evil, the remake. Yeah, that was
very smooth running.
Which you haven't gone back to, I believe, yet, have you?
No, I'm on Xbox.
Right, okay.
Played it.
But from that point of view, that game was perfect, and it was done brilliantly. But when we got these massive multiplayer games, RPG games that we're getting at the moment, it's like they're. I think we're talking about the investors getting these games out more for what they want to spend and reap the benefits for than what actually the quality of the product is.
Yeah, I think you're right.
But we'll see. We got E3 in a few months. So yeah, well, we'll see what comes from there.
I have to admit, for me, the big problems that are big turn-offs in games. I think that there are several. I think you're right. It's games that don't work. Microtransactions in games, that's a big turn-off for me. And a big fault in games. And the other thing as well is the things that make you do multiplayer if you don't want to. So what I don't like is, like, for example, a Thorn quest. Because I like Thorn as a gun from the original, I will have to play Destiny 2 in the Crucible to get that. But I don't want to.
But at least they have not made it completely difficult and out of your reach.
No, but what I mean is, what they should be doing is setting this up so that you can do something else.
Quest lines?
Yeah,
one for PvE or one for PvE, depending on how you want to play it.
Yes, that's the way that they should do it.
I mean, they did put some parts of the quest were either asking you to go into the Crucible to kill warlocks or to do something in the PvE set. Do you know what I mean? So they are looking at that sort of idea.
Yeah.
And obviously, if they had the second to last part I'm doing at the minute, as as soon as you die, you reset to a certain point, I would have never gone back to it. I mean, I did it for the Maleficent. I got through that. Yeah. Also, tell it wasn't the Maleficent. It was for the last word. And I'm stuck on the strike at the minute to do, but it's only because my reaction time's a bit slow. But, yeah, they got to be a little bit more forgiving these days, I think. I think you all got to take note of that. Yeah,
because I'll probably just abandon the last word. Not the last word.
Well, no, I don't think. No, I wouldn't if I was you, because all you've got to do is just grind a few games out. And as I said earlier on in the show, that Iron Banner is kicking off on Tuesday, so it's going to be doubly easier to do. So it'd be worth doing a bit of Iron Banner with a void hand cannon.
Yeah, but I've got to do the escalation protocols and all of that beforehand.
But that was a doddle to do. I did that bit on my own myself, to be honest. You only got to go in there, go to Mars and do an escalation protocol. And there's always people doing it.
That's true.
And at the moment, they're all doing it because they're probably all still doing the quest for Thorn anyway.
Yeah.
And I quite like doing that, actually. I think it's a good little, a good bit of a, PvE side of things to do, even though it's sort of mixed in with multiplayer a bit because you've got other guys. Excuse me. That you do it with other people, sort of thing. But I think it's a great little game mode myself.
But yeah, okay.
But I know from your point of view, I know what you're saying. I do understand that. But yeah.
And the other thing as well,
go on.
Is in terms of the Division, what's turning me off on that is the fact that the raids are going to be 8 players. Well, we've struggled. And we've never done it with 6 to get 6 people consistently there. So again, that's another massive turn off for one of the biggest, end game elements of it is just beyond reach. So personally, 3 or 4 is achievable to get people together for that, but to get 6 or 8, it makes it too hard.
And you can't really have multiplayer in this, as in, you can't have matchmaking. It's because it needs to be a team put together to do those sort of things,
Yeah.
So
there we go. They're the turn-offs.
Okay. Well, we do have turn-ons as well, don't we?
We do. Ooh.
Okay,
so matron.
We'll move to Facebook then. Lee Doherty, he sort of says, "Hiya, chaps. What's your favourite game from each generation, let's say from 8-bit to current gen?" And he has a second question, which I do think we should have brought up earlier in the news, because I did make a note about this myself, but completely forgot, but we'll talk about that in a minute. So what would you, each generation then, Hayden, as you've played many generations?
Okay. Each generation. I would say first generation, which would be the Commodore 64 era, would be Elite. Second generation, Commodore Amiga sort of time. I'm going to say Mercenary.
I'll say cannon fodder.
Next generation, which is PlayStation 1.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say... I'm torn between Tomb Raider, Metal Gear Solid and Wipeout.
You see, I'm going to say Resident Evil 2.
Yeah.
For me. Even though a close second would be Metal Gear Solid. And even Gran Turismo as well.
Okay.
And also from the Sega side of things, because you've had that as well, remember?
Yeah.
Oh. Probably something like Sonic, maybe.
I was going to say Sonic for me because I didn't play much else on that, but that was still 16-bit, so to me that was lumped in with the Amiga sort of era.
Anyhow, so what about your PlayStation then?
PlayStation, I'll go for Tomb Raider if you're going to go for Metal Gear. PlayStation 2, I'm going to say Metal Gear Solid 2.
Okay. I'm going to, as much as I do love Metal Gear Solid 2, and I think actually Resident Evil Nemesis came out on PlayStation 1 probably, but what I did enjoy, which was I think one of the release games for the PlayStation 2, and that would have been the snowboarding game.
SSX.
Yes.
That was a class game, was that?
I absolutely love the original.
Mm.
And the soundtrack in that was brilliant.
It was. I really did like that game. And I still play it occasionally on the GameCube, SSX Tricky.
Yeah, I'd like to see something like that brought back, actually. I mean, I know we've had another version that came on the 360.
Steep. Well, no, sorry. There was Steep, wasn't there? But that was a bit of a variation. It wasn't the same.
Yeah, but there was an SSX Tricky 2 or 3. I don't know which one it was.
It wasn't very good, though.
No, it's not as good as the original. And I love the characters, the grinding on some of those poles, depending on what mountain you were on and stuff like that. I played that for hours, absolute hours.
Yeah, so did I. Brilliant game.
And next gen would be, 360, wouldn't
it? Well, actually, do you know what? I'm surprised you haven't mentioned Halo, the original.
Yeah, but that was after the PlayStation, wasn't it? The Xbox. But I just call
that was PlayStation 2 era, wasn't it?
Yeah, so we're talking after. Yeah, actually, it was sort of halfway through the PlayStation 2 era, wasn't it?
Yeah. And so, straggling the the PlayStation and the PS2 era was the Dreamcast as well. So I would say Shenmue at that point.
Resident Evil 4.
Resident Evil Code Veronica.
That was on it as well. I played on the 360 as well, actually.
Yeah. 360-wise, Burnout Paradise.
Bioshock.
There we go.
And Fallout 3.
And Fallout 3.
And Bioshock 2.
So what about this gen? Do we really need to ask you?
No, we don't, do we?
Yes, it's Adventure Time. We know that's the one you like.
It's Barbie Does Dallas.
I thought it was Dallas Does Barbie.
It was, but I don't want to say that.
Yeah, I think we're both on Destiny 2 there.
Absolutely. So there's something else he's talking about here that came out in the news, and it's a sad day for 20th Century Fox.
It is.
Because Disney have taken over those two lamps in the sky that we see at the beginning of those movies. And to be honest, I don't know how this is going to turn out. They may well bring out this train and reboot every sort of franchise that was out, and possibly just just really grind it and make it awful. I really don't know what they're going to do. But I mean, if you think about some of the franchises that were on 20th Century Fox, including the X-Men and other things, you've got the Die Hard, haven't you? You've got Predator, Alien, all these. I mean, God knows what we're going to see from Disney on this lot.
It does make you worried.
I'm just glad that I think they're also apparently going to get rid of the 20th Century Fox Searchlight is going to go, probably.
It already has, I think, because now you just see Fox.
No, you still see that, the way they bring it out there, you know, all that, that's still there on an introduction, but you got Fox Searchlight, which is more to do with the TV shows, isn't it? That's
I
slightly different.
suppose.
But it's going to be a real shame, to be honest. It's an end of an era, I think.
Definitely. Absolutely, definitely. I think it's such a shame. But what it might mean is we might get the Fox beginning back on Star Wars, because the Star Wars theme tune does not seem the same without it.
Well, you're going to see. Are you going to see the Princess Castle now and everything they've got now? That they've got nearly everything that's available that you love is all going to start with the Ark and the castle now. And it's just I don't know. It winds me up. But anyway, do you want to do Jason's?
Well, we haven't actually answered the question, though, have we?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I just saw.
You went off on a tangent.
I did. So I was going to go for a moan.
So do you want to read his question then?
So I will actually re-say that. So what are your views on the finalised Disney Fox movie takeover? We've mentioned that. And who would you cast in a rebooted X-Men or Fantastic Four movies, i.e. with Wolverine and Cyclops, etc.? I'd say bring back the original cast, personally.
Yeah, but I do think Patrick Stewart maybe might be getting a bit old for it. But to be honest, I have no problem with the First Class group. I think that they're quite strong. I'm quite happy with them. I'm looking forward to Dark Phoenix.
What about the Fantastic Four though? I did love the original first two movies.
Yeah. To be honest, I really can't think of who I would want to be in that.
Just have them come back.
Oh yeah, bring them back. Bring them back.
I say, bring out the original cast. I know you're going to have a bit of a crossover with one character because he was Captain America, but Captain America is nearly done now anyway.
Yeah.
So that's fine that he can go back to that role and say flame on or whatever it was, as you do. And I know Wolverine is done and dusted as far as Hugh Jackman's concerned. But there was talk of Daniel Radcliffe. And how did that make you feel?
For which character did you say?
Wolverine.
No. No, I think he's wrong. I'll tell you who I think would have been a good Wolverine, but he's not going to do it because he's the Winter Soldier, and that's Sebastian Stan.
Oh, because he's going to take over from
Captain America
anyway, isn't he? Well, I
think he does in the comics. He does in the comics. Anything else is speculation.
They say that's going to probably follow suit, isn't it?
Yeah.
So anyway, do you want to move on to the next one?
Okay, so Jason Toon is asking, with Microsoft sharing a few limited exclusives it has with Steam and Nintendo, thinking about Halo and Cuphead, do you think that the doors are going to swing both ways? Now, obviously, we'll never see Mario on a next Xbox, but maybe we'll have some access to Nintendo's other IP, not to mention exclusivity to Valve's IP, like the rumoured Left 4 Dead 3.
I think Nintendo's going to be a sort of a closed case on its own. I mean, you never know. I mean, who knows? But I'd see it very unlikely.
I think it's too early to speculate in terms of what's happening there. I mean, Microsoft has been buying up software developers recently. So for either late this gen or certainly the next gen, they should have a hell of a lineup of games. So it'll be interesting to see, but I think that Microsoft is more focused on providing you options to play it in different formats, whereas I think Sony wants you to focus on theirs, as does Nintendo. But I feel, I don't know, I don't really get what Xbox on Switch is going to be honest. Whether or not that's going to be a streaming service.
We'll have to wait and see, really. We'll find out more later in the year. Come to E3, I think.
Yeah.
That's when it'll all become clear.
Definitely.
Okay. So, Anthony Pittman says, what leap do you want to see most in VR next gen? You can pick one out. You can only pick one. What leap would you like to see?
Haptic feedback suits.
Do you know what? I totally agree. And that's on a proper game thought of idea.
Yeah.
No perviness here, we're talking.
Yeah, we're talking about playing video games. We're not talking about, going to Pornhub.
Oh, it just reminds me of Ready Player One when Artemis rubs her hands over me, sort of starts to feel it. It's really weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
But I think that would be good because then, it's like if you were getting shot or whatever, you would be able to feel where the shots were coming from.
No, that's right. I mean, I don't know whether or not, depending on how they do make you feel, because you could make that really hurt, couldn't they?
Mm. Oh, yeah, they definitely could.
But then you could what you'd be able to do is you'd be able to turn down the sensitivity.
I would have thought so.
So if you're in your 60s playing a shooting game, you don't want to be hitting the bullets at you. You start getting bruises all over your body.
Well, I mean, a lot of people do switch off the rumble packs, don't they, on the controllers and stuff like that. Personally, I like that extra bit of feedback. It makes the game feel a bit more alive.
Well, you know what it's for? It's so when I nod off in Destiny, you can actually start shooting me and it'll wake me up because I can feel this vibration from somewhere.
Doesn't always work.
No, it doesn't, does it?
That's when you drop the controller.
Oh, God, yeah.
Okay, so Nicky Wilson, what do you think about Google Stadia? Will it be a success or the next on live?
Well, we have to wait and see on that. And we've already mentioned it actually earlier in the show. So
I think, to be honest, I don't think it will be the next on live because I think that Google has the money to throw at it. But I don't think it's going to replace the next gen consoles.
No, it's not.
And besides that, you know what's going to happen? It'll be Xbox Live on Stadia.
Of course it will. You know
that. I'm wondering if Xbox Live on Switch is more about the cross-platform playing rather than the actual games itself.
Yeah, I still agree on all that.
Yeah. Anyway, do you want to do polls?
Yeah, so this is, I think we can answer this one pretty easily. So he says, wow, what a wealth of quality games available at the moment. Each time a new one comes out, I have to make the purchase, and I always have to think to myself, no need to buy any more games for a while. Do you think same thing? And also, or do you just keep on purchasing them? Hayden.
Yes, I do.
I'm going to answer it first. Say, you can, as I said earlier, you can only play one game at a time, and I've got games that I've got out of the wrapper that I've not even really played yet.
Yeah. I wish you would and start reviewing a few of them. Puts more pressure on me to do more of them.
Well, you're great anyway. But no, seriously, I've got Tomb Raider to start yet.
I know you have.
And you have.
No, I've already started it. I've done
the first 5 minutes.
Wow. So you got through the cutscene then?
Yeah, I'm still, I think, at the party at the beginning, so...
Oh my, I can't even remember the party in the beginning. That was so far along ago in the game.
Anyway.
I think it greatly depends. If it's a game I've been really looking forward to, I'll go out and get it.
It also depends on money as well.
Yeah.
We haven't got this
allegedly
bottomless pit, have we?
No, we haven't. And I would say certainly over the last, I think I keep going in fits and starts with it all, but I do feel if I wasn't doing this, I wouldn't buy as much, and I would probably be more focused on the ones that I buy.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with you.
Yeah, so I think that I do keep buying them, but I buy them more for this. But that's one of the reasons why I'm now switched over to PC, because it is just a slightly cheaper way of doing it, but with the same quality or higher graphics. Plus the fact there's more options for streaming and stuff like that. I forgot to mention I got my first subscriber. Thank you very much.
Oh, well done.
Yay, got a whole 1 subscriber now.
Okay, do you want to ask the next question?
Okay, so Alan Cochran has asked, has Fallout 76 damaged the name of Bethesda?
I don't think so. Reason being that I think the game's ticking along quite nicely for people.
You know, you can get it for $7.79 on PC.
That's irrelevant. Okay?
I don't know. I think it's quite relevant because it's a relatively new game that was so incredibly buggy that it massively damaged the way that...
Anyhow, I think we've got a lot more to come from Bethesda over E3.
Well, we have, because we've got Rage 2.
And we can have that new IP of theirs as well.
Yeah.
Which we can hear a bit more about. and then we'll have the next Skyrim. So I think Bethesda are going to tick along nicely, to be honest. I think, obviously, they won't have forgotten how this has gone. It more likely would make them sort of think about it a bit more and know where they're going to go next time around.
Seriously, Steve, I know that you're a Bethesda fanboy, but face reality, this is Bethesda. This is actually the way that they release games. They release broken games.
They release charm games.
No, they release broken games that require fixing at launch. That's what Bethesda always do. There are very few Bethesda games that are released that do not require weeks and weeks of patching after launch. Fallout 4, Fallout 3, Fallout 3 New Vegas, Skyrim, Fallout 76. I can go on. All of those games all had bad launches in terms of how well they
Actually, I don't think Fallout 3 had the bad launch, to be honest.
There was still a lot of problems with Fallout 3 that required a lot of patches.
I don't remember seeing too many of them, though, to be honest. I remember...
Steve, it could be happening to you and you'll sit there and say, I don't remember ever seeing any Bethesda game ever. Tell you what, you would not be able to turn your head in your room if you were Pinocchio, because your head would be plastered at one side of the room and your nose would be in the exact opposite corner. Because it'll have grown so much in that statement.
Okay, anyway, moving on.
I think the thing is, you can't get a worse name than Bethesda in terms of the quality of the games at launch. Unless you're BioWare.
Well, that's it. I think I'd put them in a bad state myself. There you go.
But I think that the thing is, though, I think that people are getting less tolerant of it. Before, it's as you said, it's the charm of Bethesda. I think that this time with Fallout 76, people have been really, really peed off.
Very true. Anyway, do you want to do Nikki Wilson's question?
Okay, Nikki's got an interesting one because
I think this is a non-question myself. Anyway.
I don't. I think he's got a point, but I think there are issues here. So Samsung have announced that they're no longer going to make 4K UHD players anymore. Is the 4K UHD format dead already?
No,
definitely not. And the reason why Samsung aren't making 4K Blu-ray players is because their 4K Blu-ray players were useless and they had ghosting. And that's part of the reason why, is because whatever they did with their encryption algorithms, it created a worse quality picture than other competitors. And I think that's why I think that they've just given up on it as a format, because they know they're not getting it right. And I've never heard of anybody who's saying, I'm going to go and buy a Samsung 4K Blu-ray player because they're the best, because they're not. And do you know what? I have to admit, got £100 Panasonic from Argos, and it's better than my LG. And my LG's a good player. And that's 4K and it does it absolutely superb. It upscales, it does absolutely everything, but it's £100.
I just use the Xbox a minute and I'm quite happy with that at the minute. That's fine.
That's fair enough.
So
I'm quite happy having my separate player.
My eyes can see what I can see, so but yeah.
But okay. You're still playing in 4K. You're still buying 4K movies.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I don't think that the output is any better or worse in terms of the actual resolution. But I do think in terms of some of the decoding that they do, I've noticed that the way that it handles the animations is slightly better on the Panasonic to the LG.
Yeah, no, I think there will be some different gradings of that, but I think from personally, my eyes can see how good Netflix is, for example, and how Blu-ray still upscales good enough on the 4K player on the Xbox. Yeah, as a point of view as well, because I was going through some Bond Blu-rays today, right, and looking at some of the 1979-80 sort of Sean Connery, Roger Moore era, and they look good. I mean, I know I did have a joke with you about the 4K collection of Daniel Craig Bond, which I think a lot of us are saying there's no point really, to be honest.
No.
But with the others, I don't know. They still look pretty good at the moment.
Yeah.
But that's just a slightly, I'm off track there a little bit, but yeah, no.
I have to admit, in terms of Blu-rays and 4K Blu-rays, if you've got an upscale, or if your player upscales, which they all do, the difference between an upscale 2 and a 4, unless you've got a massive TV or you're sitting really close to it, it's not really that apparent.
No, I don't think so, no.
But I do, you do have to have the right player and you have to have it set up right to get the best out of it. Otherwise, you do notice a difference. Yeah. But if you've got it set up just right, they all seem to upscale to such an excellent quality. But I would always go for 4K over 2K if I can afford it and it's one that I really want. But I think Samsung pulling out of the market in terms of the players, it's not the be all and end all. Sony's still in there, as the maker of this standard. And you've still got Panasonic, you've still got LG, you've still got loads of big names in there. And until they all pull out, the format's not dead.
No, absolutely. I totally agree. Okay, so Mark Tudor says, good evening, guys. Which piece of non-gaming tech from the last 10 years would you say you've been most impressed with? And why?
I'm going to say iPad, but I mean tablets generally.
Yeah, the Star Trek tech is definitely getting in there, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. But I do, and even those were called pads, if you think about it. But I just think that tablets now, and smartphones as well, are just so integral to our lives that I don't, I would seriously struggle to function the way that I did 20 years ago. Using filofaxes and stuff like that, to be honest.
Yeah.
Do you remember those days?
Yeah.
And little things like you're watching a movie and you think of something and you think, oh, I'll just have a look on IMDb. Little things like that. It's those sorts of things that I think have just enhanced and in some ways inhibited our lives quite considerably.
Yeah, I think non-gaming tech from the last 10 years, I think I'm going to go down the TV route, really.
Yeah.
I think we've seen a big leap on screen and what we see on the screen nowadays.
In that, I take it you're also thinking about the recording media that goes with it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
If you go back, I'm trying to think what TV did I have 10 years ago? I think the one I've got is actually sitting in this room. And to be honest, that TV at its time, and even now, if I play a Blu-ray on it, it's still very impressive for that TV of its time then, 10 years ago. Obviously, we're moving into the 4K realm now and everything else. But as one of my mates once said, and that was Glyn once said to me when I showed him I Am Legend on this, he said it didn't look right because it looked too real. It was like you're sitting next to the camera in a chair watching this film, if you can get my meaning.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think TVs have come a long way.
And actually, I think you bring up a good point there, because on a couple of the films I've been watching, where they've been in 4K or they've been upscaled, I've been looking and I've been thinking, we're getting to the point of the quality is so good that what was hidden because of the lower video quality is now becoming apparent. So things like, when I watched The Fifth Element, I thought, actually, a lot of this looks like sets rather than look like places. Do you know what I mean?
And it's funny, even if you watch some older movies, they blatantly look like a set and they're not real. And there are some times where it's worse off now for the actor and actresses, because what you can see now, what you couldn't see before, and they're very vain people, it makes them sort of shudder a bit to think, do I look like that?
Yeah.
And do you know what I do like? And don't get me wrong, but sometimes watching an old movie, maybe even a horror movie, and if you watch it in like a VHS mode, it gives it a bit more life. Now, as much as I know, you and I, we both have the 4K generation. And you say you've got a nice collection now of 4K movies. And there's some stuff coming out soon that we're all going to pick up. But some of these films look better if they just treated a bit more old-fashioned.
Yes.
I think one example would be, for example, The Evil Dead. You bring that out in 4K and it's really crystal and everything else, but it's not right. It needs to be a bit grainy. It needs to be a bit more raw with what you're watching because of what it is.
Mm.
And know that we do get that in gaming sometimes now. They'll give you a filter to give you like make it look a bit raw and sort of hard looking. But sometimes I think, do you know what? I wouldn't mind actually watching a movie on a VHS cassette.
Yeah.
And seeing how that image looked from the point of view that it's just got I think there's a bit of memory to it as well, to be honest. But yeah.
I don't know. I think I know what you're meaning, because it just gives it the gloominess gives it that bit of atmosphere.
Yeah.
Whereas nowadays, if it's too crystal clear, you can see details that you're not meant to see as a viewer, which can, as I was saying, make it look artificial.
I mean, I'll give you a prime example. And this is totally. I was watching. I was watching Thunderbirds. Okay.
Yeah. FAB.
And Scott was in Thunderbird 1. It was taking off. And is it elevating? The chair swivels as you're moving because he's going into flight.
Yeah.
And I saw a fly in there, an actual fly, as clear as day, and it looked big as well.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't have known that originally, because it got this sort of like a little bit of a 4K treatment or HD treatment. It would have been a blur in the background,
Yeah.
But I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm looking forward to Alien coming out in 4K.
Be interested to see what that looks like.
I know it's going to look awesome. I mean, that's 40 years old this year, isn't it?
Yeah.
And God, does it make me feel old.
I was 8 when that came out.
I would have been 15,
I will
16.
have been next month, I should say. I'll be 8.
I would have been about 15 or 16 when it came out, because I did just about catch it at the cinema.
Yeah. No, I'm at that awkward position now where I've gone from being I could still get away with saying I'm in my mid-40s to being in my late 40s now.
You see, where a lot of people that listen to this show probably say, if I'll give you a handful of movies, which let's say Terminator, let's say RoboCop, let's say Back to the Future, they all saw them on VHS.
Yeah.
I saw them in the cinema.
No, I saw all of them in the cinema as well. No, didn't.
But there's going to be people that watch your show that may well have just seen them on VHS, maybe, and caught them at that time.
Or just on TV.
Yeah, And when I listen to some of the movie podcasts I listen to, when they're chatting about, I rented that on VHS. I rented it on VHS, but I actually saw it in the cinema as well. And I think, to be honest, I'm glad I've been that sort of age, because I've experienced 80s cinema in the cinema and loved it. And something I'll never forget, or even the 70s as well, when I saw Jaws in the cinema, where most people would have saw that on TV. And it's not a patch when you see it on the big screen. But mark my words for that one.
Yeah, I can imagine. It's like Star Wars is supposed to be seen on the big screen.
Yeah, it is. And I bet a lot of people didn't.
I wish that they would do a re-release of Star Wars, the original trilogy. Like they did in the 90s, or the late 90s.
Well, I went to them as well.
So did I.
When they did the redones and redos for whatever time that was, they did it.
Yeah.
And they came out within about a week of each other, if I remember rightly.
It was pretty quick. I don't think it was within a week.
It was, within a month then, maybe.
But it was all on a run up to the Phantom Menace.
Yeah, but
that was 20 years ago.
And do you know what? I think it was 10 years ago, when I got married. Well, no, just before, because they released, because then they released Star Wars, because you can't get this anymore now. They brought out Star Wars and Star Wars Remastered with the redos on one DVD.
Yeah.
And they gave you 2 DVDs. They gave you the original 1977 cut.
And one of the very many remasters that George Lucas has done, because there was a difference between the cinema version of the remaster to the DVD version.
Yeah, and when it came out first on DVD, I've got the original. I've got the first time it came out, and the set and the limited edition sets, which comes in a special box with 2 DVDs, and then obviously we've got the Blu-ray box set as well, which is completely different again. But
I've got the Laserdisc.
Do you know what? I saw that the other day. I was round relatives. It was their boy, his birthday, and we was having a chat, and I had my Thing T-shirt, and he said, "Oh, it's my favourite movie of all time." We was talking about LPs, vinyl, and stuff like that, because he wants to pop over at some point and have a look at my collection.
Yeah.
He said, "I don't have a Laserdisc anymore," but he said, he just pulled his set. He said, "Look at this, what I got here." And he pulled out Star Wars on Laserdisc. He said, "I don't own a Laserdisc, but I couldn't get rid of it. I just didn't have the heart to get rid of it." He said, "I've still kept it."
Well, I do have a Laserdisc player, and I have it, the collection as well.
Mm. They're not actually worth a lot now, unfortunately, are they?
No. Because not many people actually have the ability to play them.
No, but yeah, that was another fly-by-night way of watching movies, isn't it?
God, yeah. But I used to love Laserdiscs. The only thing with them, though, was flipping a disc over halfway through the movie.
But that was it, though, wasn't it? Because when VHS came out, everything came out on I mean, even though it was superior quality and image, wasn't it?
Yeah. It was sub DVD quality, but it was still really high quality in comparison to what was already there.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at, it's funny, if you dig out if you dug out a DVD nowadays of some of your movies, some I've got, they look very grainy nowadays.
I don't know how you actually saw a picture, to be honest.
And if you remember, I remember watching VHS, and it would be like watching a TV, and someone had got some silicone and rubbed it over the screen, and it all looks blurry.
Yeah.
And that's what it was those days, you know?
It was. The Laserdiscs are still worth £25.
What's on eBay?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
So it's not too bad, is it? Although at one point they had gone up to like 500. But no.
Well, a Laserdisc player, right?
Yeah.
Is a Philips VLP 700 Laservision disc player, £130.
Yeah. Well, I've got a Pioneer. That's my Laserdisc player.
This is one of your pre-owned bids of 99p.
But does it work?
And you got the ones I remember. These ones here, which are the Philips VLT.
Yeah.
£50 bid.
Be all right if it works.
Yeah, you got 2 of them. But again, it's like if you ever bought yourself a VHS player again, isn't it? And so some VHS tapes.
Mm.
But anyway, we're reminiscing too much here.
Definitely.
Okay, should we move on to Twitter?
Yep. So,
and I'll let you do. You can do Daz, yeah.
Okay, so first question from Daz is: are we going to see Xbox Live streaming on a Nintendo Switch?
Yes, I think we will.
I'm not so sure.
What's the point in the first place otherwise? What are they going to do? I mean, obviously, we mentioned this earlier and we have to wait and see, but...
It'll be cross-platform play, I think. I think that'll be how you'll get things like Rocket League or whatever to play.
Although it's cross-platform at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah. But I think what they're doing is putting in an architecture to allow future games to do that cross-platform.
Mm.
Be interesting to see if you actually get achievements on the Switch.
Yeah, I knew you'd come up with that question. Because you'd be then borrowing your son's Switch to get extra achievements. You know that.
I'll just take it off him. Right, you don't use it, I'll use it.
Yeah, bloody right, will you? I know that for a fact. I put my mortgage, I put money on it. Anyway, so his last question, and the last one was he said, do you think the next batch of consoles will be on-demand gaming with no disk drive?
No.
But funnily enough, there is going to be a release shortly of a non-disc version of the Xbox.
Yes, but they're also doing it so that I think Microsoft, it was reported that they've got a technology where you can have a physical copy of a disc, but use it on a discless Xbox. Yeah,
and I think if you want to go down the digital route for that, then knock your socks off.
Yeah, but I don't think I don't think Stadia is going to be the next gen. That sort of
I don't think so. No, I don't. But it's just, I think we're not ready to get rid of discs yet.
I don't think that our internet architecture can cope with it.
No. whether it's movies or games or anything else, or whether it's going to be music, anything really.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Anything else?
No, that's it.
Well, that's a wrap for this evening, because my throat is about had it now, to be honest. But, so, just to finish off the evening, so contact details for myself, Twitter @Steve007, the PSN ID is the real Steve007, Xbox Steve007, email steve007@popculturegamer.uk. Obviously, the best place really to get me on instantly these days will be Twitter.
Or anything with Steve007 attached to it.
But Twitter, I use Twitter most of anything at the moment. I really do.
Yeah.
And yourself, boy out pal.
Well, for me, I'm on everything as HERJ UK, so that's PSN, Xbox Live, Steam, Uplay, Origin, whatever. I'm on all of those as that. Also, you can just type in HERJ UK and find my YouTube channel. Don't forget, as a show, we have a YouTube channel, which is, we haven't got it named yet. We need more subscribers, so please come along and subscribe so that we can get 100 subscribers and actually name the channel. Also, we have a Facebook group, which is Pop Culture Gamers. You can also email us at podcast@popculturegamers.co.uk. We have our website, popculturegamers.podbean.com. Don't forget, you can also listen to the show on Podbean, iTunes, Spotify, and on your Echo using our Alexa app.
And even a toilet roll, probably. Everything else is available.
Yep. We also, if you want to support the show, you can also support us on Patreon. And also, I can't rename the channel, but if you go to twitch.tv/HERJ UK, I'm doing quite a lot of streaming on there as well.
He is, yes, you are.
More or less on a daily basis now.
Okay, so that's a wrap then, I think.
I think so.
So we'll do this the right way this time. So it's a good night from me.
And it's a good night from him.
Good night, guys.
Good night.
You are about to witness history in the making.